In a hot summer day in July of 1990, James was taking some trucks to be fixed up at Crovan's Gate, and some were supposed to be going over to the mainland. The things that needed fixing ranged from vehicles to trucks. James loved these types of runs, as it meant that he could also stretch out his wheels. As James was passing the crossing, he saw something in the distance, then gasped. The back part of somebody's train was lying on his line. The sun had melted the coupling. James applied his brakes as hard as he could, but it was no use. The truck surged him forward and pushed him to his immediate demise. James opened his eyes and found himself in the ditch. He couldn't speak, move, or even move his eyes. He was in a great deal of pain as well. James! Are you alright? Can you hear me, James? James! Bust my buffers. Is it bad? Colin! Go! I know, I'm going. Soon, Diesel came with the breakdown train, and the mess had been cleaned up in a few hours. Passy, take James home. He needs to be examined before going to Crovan's Gate. Yes, sir. And Percy set off with James. Percy looked over at James. Are you alright, James? Don't worry, James. Let's just get you to the back of the shed so the workmen can inspect you. Soon, James was turned around and was shunted at the back of his shed while he waited for the workmen to inspect him. Soon the workmen came to give James some inspections and to see what was needed to be fixed. Then, one of the workmen found something in James's tender. James, there's water coming out of your tender from a big gash, even bigger than your wheels. No wonder we've been finding water around the rails. It's because of your big gash. James frowned. He looked over at the manager. Is that all that's wrong with me? No, not even close. Your sandboxes are broken. Your funnel is crooked. Your boiler has been found to have a lot of dust and ash. We can't even remove them. It's been stuck there for almost a year. And the last thing we found is that your bogie at your front has actually come loose. No wonder you've been having some derailments for these past few days. The workman finished. Does this mean I have to go to Crovan's Gate? Not even Crovan's Gate, James. You might even need to go to Crewe for this one. So what's going to happen? Jeff will pick you up in a few minutes. Then he'll take you to Groven's Gate to be inspected and to see if you really do need to go to crew. I'm pleased to say that the manager was as good as his word. Jeff soon came to pick up James. Don't worry, James. We'll have you fixed in no time. But how do you know I don't have to go to crew, Jeff. I mean, the manager did say it was very serious. Jeff chuckled. I know. If you do need to go to crew, Sir Topham will surely give you a reserved seat for crew and will give you the permanent updates you need to have. I see. When word got around about James's accident, everyone was shocked. Indeed, with another engine down, the main line would almost grow to a halt. With James and Gordon gone, they will need to do both of their work, and they were already struggling with Gordon's as well. Indeed, the engines thought that this was going to be a hard choice to do for the Fat Controller. Luckily, he did have a plan. That night, when most of the engines were at the sheds, Henry just came back from Vickstown after spending the night there. Hello all. What's going on? Oh, you mean you haven't heard? Heard what? Peter soon explained of what James's incident had done. Oh, I see. How bad is it? By what I've heard, he really just needs a major overhaul now. He can't be rebuilt. He really needs a new boiler, new sandboxes, new everything. Do you think the Fat Controller would agree about this? I would think so, but I never know. Well, you do now, Peter. The engines looked over to see the Fat Controller standing on the rails beside Bear. The men at Groven's Gate has told me about what needs to be done to fix James, and I have obliged to this. He'll be sent out to crew, but won't come back for at least 5 months. Then what should we do, sir? We can't do James' work on top of Gordon's and on top of our work, sir. That is why I have decided to get 2 other engines to help us on here. Alice, you might know the first one, and I think Winston might know the second one. Do you know their names, sir? Asked Henry. No, I don't know their names, but by the time they arrive in the next fortnight or so, we shall learn their names and we shall introduce ourselves. But for now, I suggest all of you get a good night's rest. We've got a very busy day tomorrow. That will be all, engines. Good night. James hasn't had this much of a major overhaul ever since his first day accident when he came here. What do you mean, first day crash? Asked Bear. Yes, you see, James had a very nasty accident when he first came here. But it wasn't his fault. He was checked by another engine. Well, could you tell us what did happen around that time? I suppose so. I think it's time for you guys to know about James's story. Henry sighed, and then he told the story. 1935 had been an eventful year for the island of Sodor, with the main line being expanded and, as well as that, new branches being built. There were 4 engines assigned to this: Colin, Lily, Adam, and then, in 1934, Winston was bought. Together, they built the railway for a long time, but then, as the months grew by, it became harder and harder to make the railway. So, Sir Topham ordered another engine to assist with the railway's construction. It began like any other day. All the engines were at Knapford Sheds. They were all assigned to stay there until 8 a.m. because the Fat Controller had a special thing to say to them. Good morning, engines. I have something special to say. As you know, we've been expanding the main line a lot recently, and I just wanted to say, Colin, Lily, Adam, you've been doing a good work, as well as you, Winston. But it is certain that we need another engine to help with the construction. As of that, I have ordered another engine to help us here. Oh, it's another one of those mixed traffics. I swear this railway will be out of shape again, with all these old kettles all over the place. What class is he? Edward asked. I don't really think it really matters, Edward. He is the same class as Winston. He wears a special black livery that they're just testing out now. He should be arriving about... Suddenly, an unknown whistle jumped into the air. All the engines wheezed and gasped. Who's that? They all thought. This is James. He's come all the way from Yorkshire and will be helping us, assisting with the building of the main line. I trust that you guys will make him feel welcome. The engines eyed James. He had a black coat with red lining and gold on it, and on his tender read Lancashire and Yorkshire. I knew it. Another old fusspot like that. Well, if nobody has any more questions, let's get to work. James worked around Knapford for a little while, as well as shunting and taking very small trains up and down the line. As James was shunting some tar tankers, one of the workmen came to James's driver and said that he needed to take a train all the way up to the end of the line for Colin to use as building materials. James looked over at platform 3. He saw that there were some trucks over there, ready for him. Or at least, he thought so. Are those ours, driver? Indeed they are, James. Alright, let's get me coupled up, and James broke off. Alan was backing on to his train. What are you doing? Those are my trucks. Your trucks? These are mine. Your trucks are over there, on platform 1. James looked over at platform 1 and gasped at the long goods train that lay ahead of him. Are you sure about this? Of course. Maintenance trains and work trains need a lot of material, so that's technically yours. James had to admit that Alan had a fair point. So, he decided to take the train. After all, he didn't want to mess up on his first day.